Your manager.
Oh,
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi,
Thanks for
Josh.
talking to us. Had some pretty big saves in this game. Maybe you weren't super busy through the whole night, but you had a really big save, I think, in the first half. And then obviously the one that comes down with just maybe a couple minutes left on that. How did you see the game for you tonight?
Yeah, I was really happy. Like I say, I made a couple of important saves, which is always satisfying. But the main thing was, it was an awkward game. We knew that a draw or a tie is enough. So we don't want to kind of overcommit and try and win the game and then lose it doing that. And yeah, it was an emotional night as well. Obviously, full stadium, and then to go 1-0 down when we probably didn't deserve to. I thought we actually started the game pretty well. Yeah, it was obviously good that we kept our heads and came back from it.
And when you're in the locker room now, what's the mood? Greg said maybe there was a little frustration in just not getting the win in front of the fans and doing all that, but you guys did make the playoffs.
Yeah, it was encouraging kind of reaction because everyone wasn't kind of hugging and celebrating and going crazy in the locker room. We know we've got another level or more levels to go to and to hit. We wanted to win because we were obviously not only just looking to make the playoffs, but we felt like we could have maybe pushed for third or fourth based on the results that happened earlier in the day. But at the end of the day, when the game went like it did, where suddenly we find ourselves behind, that stuff matters a little bit less, and then we need to make sure we get over the line, which we did.
You were here last year. The way that you guys went out of the playoffs, a couple of years before the club went out of the playoffs on the last day. As much as it might have been muted because of the result and all that, just how does it feel to be in the playoffs with this team?
It does feel good. Obviously, this is my second season, and Greg mentioned, and a few of the other boys who've been here for a little while have mentioned that it's really been a difficult hurdle to overcome in the last 8 or 9 years, however many years. So we don't want to kind of overlook what we've achieved. But at the same time, that isn't what this club is used to. This club is used to kind of going to the final and winning the trophy, and we're very aware of that. If you go back to last season, we spent every minute of every game in the playoff places, not only just in kind of 6th, 7th. Most of the season we were up there 3rd, 4th. And to lose or to get bumped out by a 97th minute goal in another game by this team, hopefully we put that right to an extent where, they could have scored, to be fair, again in the 95th minute, but they didn't, and we held on, and they're the ones now out of the playoffs and we're in. So hopefully we've done some good coming back like that.
Oh, I want to ask you also about the 2 shots by Glad. First one, you make a great save. I'm wondering how much of that's just reaction, just, you've got an idea where it's going. And then the second one is one that, he's got to put away. To see that go over, how does it, I guess, what's going through your head? How much joy is there in that?
It all happened so quickly. It's difficult to kind of think about what I was thinking at the time, but just relief that obviously the first one I was in the right place and got a foot to it, and then the second one, I couldn't quite believe it was happening, and then just relieved that he hit it over. They had some kind of lucky goal. Was it offside or something like that? There was something happened in their goal last year that kicked us out of the playoffs in the other game where it was a handball, should have been a penalty. Yeah. So we were very unlucky there, and if you can even call the header today unlucky for them, he's got to put it away really. But yeah, the luck went our way a little bit this time.
Hey, Jonathan, congrats on clinching the playoffs. Can you talk about the atmosphere today? Like, outside of the Derby game, at least I feel like, at least for me, it kind of felt like a playoff game, playoff atmosphere. I think it's been a while that we've seen the stadium rock like how it rocked today. Can you talk about that and what the fans brought in today?
Yeah, they made it into a final. They made it into what felt like a playoff game. I can tell very quickly at the start of the games when they've brought that kind of atmosphere, because I know that my players just can't hear me. So I try and pick and choose if they're close enough to be able to communicate with them, but most of the time they just can't hear me. So that's always a good sign, or a sign of a good atmosphere. And yeah, I think maybe it was a little bit muted at the end with the draw, but I mean, if the situation was different, then maybe we push and win the game. But we know that a draw is enough with 10, 15 minutes to go, and that's kind of what we held on for. So, no, it was great to see them out in their numbers, and we got to thank them at the end. Hopefully, we get another home game in front of them as well if we can win the last game.
Can you talk about also you guys have a chance to clinch fourth, potentially third. I know that there's been a bumpy road in the season, but how good does it feel that potentially you guys might be able to clinch a playoff home game?
Yeah, we've had to come through a lot this season, especially off the back of last season. We were under a lot of pressure, and we've had people come up with big performances kind of in the latter part of the season. I think Gaston's been great. Ricky obviously has come in, made a big difference. Chicha scoring goals. So we haven't lost, or we've lost very few in the last kind of 9 or 10 games, and hopefully now we're finding some momentum at the right time. Yeah, I mean, I'm on a personal note, I'm just very happy that we've given ourselves a chance at winning this trophy. It's very difficult to end the season and watch other teams who you feel may not be as good as you sometimes compete for, in playoff games, which are great things to be a part of. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I filled them out well, as they say.
That's too much information, Kirk. Too much information. Sorry.
Thank you. I'll
Hey,
tell you
Greg,
a
first
good
of all,
story
just
one day.
your thoughts on getting this group that first step into the playoffs, first of all.
Yeah, I'm obviously I'm proud of these guys. It's been a couple years now that we've been battling together, trying to put a group together, fill in our holes, grow in terms of our confidence and just belief. Winning the games or getting results in games that we need to has been a big thing for us. We've had opportunities over the stretch to win games and take a big step forward, and sometimes we drop those, but in this last little stretch of games, we've been winning when we need to win, and tonight we got a result that we needed to get ourselves across the line, and that's big. It's a mental thing sometimes, and and as I just said to the guys, that we all signed up here to change the trajectory of this club, because it's the best club in MLS, but it's been struggling for a number of years, and all of us signing up here with the responsibility to turn this club back into the greatest club in the league. And so we took one step towards that tonight. It's a small step to get ourselves into the playoffs. Now it's to go to Houston and play like Houston is a playoff game so that we can be ready. There's no letting off in Houston. We've got to go and play with the right intensity and speed because we're going to be in it before we know it. So, but just really proud of the group to battle, even to come from behind in a situation that was maybe a little frustrating for the guys, missing another penalty kick that's been a struggle for us this year, then giving up a goal, but then fighting our way back into it. So.
I think a couple weeks ago you said this group sort of struggled with emotions, I believe what you said. How have you seen them sort of handle that over this last 10-game stretch here?
Yeah, better. It's a group that can get frustrated easily. I saw that a little bit towards the tail end of the first half when we started to find ourselves down a little bit. We start to get a little bit overzealous. We start pushing a little bit too much. Then the game gets opened up. We expose ourselves a little bit at times. So sometimes, a little bit more patience, a little bit more playing the long game, as we say, instead of just rushing to try to get ourselves back in it and opening ourselves up. But at times and I've said during the course of the year, we ride our results heavy, and when we win, we're really high, and when we lose, we get a little bit too low, and we're starting to find a little bit more stability in each of these results. The guys were disappointed that they didn't win tonight because it was at home in front of the crowd and fan appreciation. So it was a muted celebration, I would say, in the locker room. But I know the guys who've been around for a while know how difficult it is just to get across that line, and now you start your momentum towards the next thing.
You go into that Houston game with the ability to clinch a home berth for the first round, possibly as high as third. How are you guys approaching that as part of the narrative?
Yeah, I just said to the guys, congratulations, but we have to go to Houston like it's a playoff game, because sometimes I think in this league there's a tendency for teams to make it to the playoffs and then foot comes off the gas a little bit. There's a little bit of a relaxation. I saw it from firsthand from our team in Toronto back in 2016 when it was the first time in club history and we got into the finals, and then we were terrible the next 3 games and we're out just like that, right? So we have to keep the mentality of the next game is just as important, and because we're playing for a home game, I think guys will be very focused and attentive to details, and we'll go out with the right intensity and mentality because we do have an opportunity to host, and that would be huge to bring a playoff game back to the stadium and to our fans. So I don't see any problem with that. And then before you know it, playoff game one will be here, and the intensity will be ratcheted up again. So there's no time for relaxation. We can just keep going.
You mentioned some frustration and missing the first penalty kick. The third penalty kick, at first it's not called, you got to wait on VAR. And in the middle there was another one where they give Chicharito a yellow card, and as we're watching it, we all thought it was a clear penalty kick.
Yeah, that's what I was told from our guys who follow the replays up in the booth and tell us what's going on. We thought that was as well. I don't know. I mean, at this point, we scored the one at the end that we needed to score to at least get us across the line. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. But Douglas stepped up in a critical moment and buried it. And that gave us a little bit of momentum. You know, there was a number of chances for us to get the second or third, and we obviously didn't get those, which then led to an interesting finish for us, of which Bondi pulled it out for us, a big save there at the end.
And then lastly, for me, Raheem, what's his situation? You could see he was getting checked. It looked like his knee.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't tell exactly, but what he kind of said is he took a knock somewhere in the soleus or something, and it just started to tighten up on him, and he couldn't really move anymore. He didn't feel like the freedom to be able to run and to change direction and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't a pull. It wasn't anything that we think would be significant. It's more of just probably a nuisance that just locked up on him for today, and hopefully we'll get him through that for the next couple of days.
Greg, I know your message all season long has been, playing to remember, or to give fans a moment that they remember and how to make them feel something special. And tonight, for what it's worth, I know there's more work to be done, but you gave fans a moment. I guess for you personally, how did that make you feel?
Good. I'm like I said, I'm really proud of our guys, and I'm happy that tonight we leave our fans with something to be excited about. That they showed up in such numbers and with such support, and it was important that we leave tonight with that playoff spot. That was huge. That's what they've been waiting for a number of years. I know they got one not too long ago, but it's been a while since since they feel that. So really, really excited about that. Honestly, I wanted us to win the game, and I wanted everybody to feel really good when they left the stadium, and our guys to feel really good. And I know was the mindset of our group was let's win this game and let's put ourselves in a real position to host. And so we still have a chance, and we did what we needed to do. But so I can't be too greedy, I guess. We got ourselves into there, and we're giving ourselves a chance to lift a trophy. And we're playing as well as anyone, in my opinion. If we can finish and we can do the little things in the game. I thought tonight we were a little stretched out and a little overzealous, really eager to try to get after them, and I think that opened us up a little bit on the defensive side, and it led to a little more of an open game than it needed to be. So just tightening up a few things, but I think where our group has been over the last month or so, I think we're ready for anyone that we play against.
Greg, it looked like it was a pretty physical game tonight too, whether that was officiating or anything else. What did RSL do in the middle of the field that sort of seemed to cause you guys problems, at least maybe in the first half?
Yeah, they were really compact. They were really compact, lots of numbers through the middle of the field. At times, even in the first half, we're trying to force too many of our combinations through the middle of the field, and we needed to move some numbers to the outsides and try to build some of our attacks off the outsides. But we tend to then funnel ourselves back towards the middle tonight a little bit too much, and that plays into their hands, which is a game of transition. So they certainly they clogged things up on us. Made it difficult. Like I said, they were compact front to back. They were compact, getting their guys wide inside, and so we were sometimes forcing it into the mix a little bit. And then I felt like after some of our attacks, even if we finished attacks, then we were starting too high defensively, but we weren't really getting pressure, and so it was too easy for them to get in between us, and then they were running guys out, and then it's behind us, and so I feel like that's that emotion side, like we were overzealous to go win the game, and I think if we score the first penalty, I think we settle in a little bit more, we stay a little bit more compact, we have something to defend, I felt like we were chasing a little bit more than we would normally or have been lately, and we just need to settle in a little bit on something like that. And I think that's a part of the environment, big crowd, big day, and I felt like we just got a little bit maybe stretched out more than we should have.
Greg, is the suit something you wear on playoff clinching days?
Well, I've been wearing it for a few weeks now. As the weather starts to turn and it gets cooler, not cold because we're in California, but as it starts to get cooler, I think, when you get to September, October, you start to get a little bit cool in the air. To me, that's when playoff time is coming around, and we try to step it up a little bit. It's more business. So we've been pretty consistent here over the last few games, this stretch. Yeah.
Greg, earlier this year when you guys were looking for new acquisitions, you kind of mentioned how sometimes it's difficult to bring in players middle of the season. It kind of, disrupts a little bit of the flow depending on, how that goes. When you see players like Ricky being so, consistent in the game, you see somebody like Martin that gives you guys a lot of more security in the back line. How has that transition been for you guys? Have you seen it, I guess, kind of exude on other players or as a collective? How have those guys kind of come in and acclimated themselves into the larger collective?
Yeah, I think, Ricky, Gaston, Martin, for me, every time Martin plays, it looks like it's his 10,000th game. It's so controlled and it's like he's seen everything before. And so it's doesn't matter where he is, what stadium is, where it is. He's seen it all before, and he's just very calm in dealing with things. Gaston, the same. I think he's adapted well, smart. And part of it is because the game is played in their head before it is anywhere else. And they're smart players who have played at a really high level and have adapted quickly to their teammates. I think the way we play also helps them because we want to have the ball. We try to play in a way that they're used to playing and it suits them. But certainly, with Ricky in particular, just his energy and his legs, he also has this desire to get out and to press and to close things down and to pick up the ball and run at speed. We were trying to get him a little bit higher to receive the ball higher between the lines and not dropping so low because I felt like there was some opportunity for him if he was a little bit higher. But he wants to get on the ball. He wants to influence the game. These are important. This is the role that we want him in. So, but sometimes I think he needs to be more patient and let us get him the ball in better places than sometimes coming and seeking the ball. But he's looking to make a difference, so you can't fault him for that. But these guys, they're high-level players who I think are big-time pros who've stepped into our locker room and into our team and into this league and have taken it with the right mentality. They came here to help the team win. They came here to play at their best level, and they've been able to find that pretty quickly because of that.
Greg, I know you've been known for wearing the scarf back in the days. I know it's kind of hot out here, so any chance we see that? And the second one, I know there in the final minutes there, Kevin Cabral had an opportunity to just went off the crossbar, and then Jonathan Bond makes an incredible save. What were your emotions like in those final minutes?
Yeah, I was riding it a little bit emotionally. I mean, we had 2 or 3 chances. I felt Kevin again had 2 or 3 chances to maybe separate us a little bit, give us the lead, which gives us, maybe a cushion to get in the playoffs, but also the opportunity to win the game. I was really hoping the one that hit the post went in because that would have given the kid a little bit of confidence maybe going into the playoffs. But after that, I felt like, again, he was decelerating and chances and opportunities when he needed to accelerate and finish and just go for it. I felt like, again, he's overthinking it and slowing down too much. But those goals would have helped us out. Then I felt like we were a little stretched out, with Vic out there and Sash, especially Vic. The key is we wanted to finish the game in possession a little bit more. That's the reason you would have someone like Vic to help us to keep possession. But we were in these fast counterattacks, and then they were coming right back at us, and then these fast counterattacks, and they were coming back at us. And so we had some holes a little bit on the outsides, on the right side, in between our lines, again being stretched out, and then they were just whipping balls across the face of our goal. And you need your center backs, you need your defenders to win those, and we didn't. And Vanney came out and took one, but then he had to make an incredible save on one, and Glad, fortunately for us, missed another one. So there was 2 or 3 moments that were hairy there at the end that we need to close out better. A little bit of it is on me, getting the right guys to close the game out, and we didn't have the ball, so it was a little bit. We were a little off it in the end in terms of making it clear, closing it out. We were a little stretched out, which is a little bit on me as well. So. The scarf, it's got to cool off a little bit. I just can't wear it if it's going to be still 75 degrees outside. But so we'll see as these games come up where we're at, and if it's cool enough here, I'll bring something out again.
Hey, Greg, one final one. As you prepare for the playoffs, there's a chance that you never know, a game might come down to penalty kicks. Do you have a 5 in your mind that you think that can step up and confidently take them? You guys have struggled on them. I think you're 9 of 14 so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, I have in my head guys that I think are ready to take them. Once you get a little closer to that, you can adjust sometimes your lineup and get certain guys on the field that maybe you would prefer to take them. But I will be ready if when that moment comes in our future here in the next couple weeks potentially or thereafter. I know we have guys that can hit them. I think. Yeah, I think some of it is we're overthinking it a little bit, and we guys need to step up. But I thought Douglas stepped up with confidence. We've got other guys that can do that as well. So.
Do you, in your experience, does practicing penalty kicks, does that help in any way, or is the situation just so different that the pressure?
I mean, practicing them it's useful in that you have a routine and that you have something that you can always fall back on that maybe you're confident about. I think being able to hit both sides is important. Being able to have a little bit of disguise in what you do is important. So these are things that you can work on to create a routine, because anytime you go into a big situation or big scenario, you want to have some kind of a routine that you are falling back on that is kind of muscle memory in some way, shape, or form. You don't want it just to be a random step up and try to hit the goal. So, yeah, some of it's that, but then once you get in the game, you add other things into it, like the emotion of the situation. There's other things that you can't really duplicate totally on the training field, but you certainly can. Like I said, you certainly can create some muscle memory and a routine that you feel comfortable with and confident in. Good. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Midfielder Douglas Costa, who's answering in Spanish, so I'll help translate.
I say next year.
That sounded like pretty good English right there.
Next year. I promise you guys.
They call the penalty, and you step up. You want it. Talk about wanting that penalty and what it meant for you.
Marcaron el penal y tú levantaste la mano para decir que tú lo tirabas. Habla un poco sobre ese momento y marcar.
Lo que pasa es que acá está tirando siempre Chicha o Ricky y yo no espero que mis compañeros fallen, pero cuando uno falla, entra otro para dar confianza y intentar lograr lo más positivo posible y fue así que pasó. Pasó el momento que tocó a mí tirar el penal, un momento crucial de la partida y lo hizo bien y estamos todos parabéns, felicitaciones, todos juntos.
What happens is that Chicharito and Ricky Puch are the usual shooters as of late, and we don't expect them to miss. But when one misses, another has to step up and kind of give that confidence and be positive. And I had the chance in a crucial moment of the match, and hopefully that ball went in, and we're in this together, and we're looking forward for our next match.
Douglas, we've seen you look more and more comfortable, sort of certainly out on the field and in the 4-3-3 formation, coming in from that right-hand side. How are you feeling physically, and how do you feel you're getting along with everybody else on the field?
¿Entendiste?
Sí, pero quiero la traducción. Sí, pero me gusta la traducción.
Te hemos visto más cómodo en la cancha bajo la alineación de 4-3-3. ¿Cómo te has sentido tú jugando con el equipo últimamente?
Yo pienso que en los últimos partidos después de Toronto me sentí demasiado bien, jugando ahí más cerca de Chicha, intentando hacer jugadas para crear superioridad numérica para el equipo. Y ahora los últimos partidos que estoy jugando más suelto, con más confianza y más cerca de hacer a mis compañeros jugar y cerca del gol también. Entonces espero que ahora empiece a salir más goles, así puedo ayudar al equipo a llegar lo más lejos posible que podamos.
I think that the last couple games after that match in Toronto, I felt very good playing, especially closer to Chicharito, trying to make plays for the team. And the last games I've been playing with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more free, and closer to the goal. And I hope that more goals continue to come and help the team get as far as possible.
And now that you guys have clinched the playoffs, a lot of places in the world don't have playoffs. So once you're in the playoffs, you sort of have a new season, a chance to still win a championship, even though you didn't finish at the top. Does that feel like a strange thing to you, or are you happy for that chance?
Muchas partes del mundo no tienen playoffs, y ahora que han clasificado a playoffs el equipo, ¿se siente raro para ti la sensación de decir jugar quizás un nuevo torneo como son los playoffs? ¿Qué sensaciones te da?
Sabes que en Brasil antiguamente, en la época de Robinho, Diego, hacían playoffs así. Y para mí estaba bien, porque le saca la oportunidad a los equipos que no fueron muy bien al coger del año, intentar salir campeón. Entonces para mí está justo, a mí me gusta una partida solo también, que venza siempre, que gane siempre lo mejor. Y así lo hacen acá. Y estoy contento por eso, de estar disfrutando un campeonato un poco diferente de lo que estaba acostumbrado.
I think playoffs are great because they give teams that maybe weren't doing so well during the season, but were able to get in, give them that extra chance or extra opportunity to, give it a shot at, making it all the way. And I'm happy because of that. I'm happy we have that chance now, and I'm enjoying it. That, it's a little different for me, but looking forward to it.
Douglas, you spoke about how you feel more confident and you're playing more free. What about the group of guys, though? Do you feel that something in the team has shifted and you guys are pulling out results that you didn't before?
Hablas que te sientes con más confianza y un poquito más libre. ¿Cómo está el grupo? Si sientes que algo cambió dentro del grupo, que les ha dado un poco más confianza también.
Es un poco complicado cuando no te salen los resultados positivos y eso tocó a cambiar muchas veces de formación y pienso que cada vez más estamos agarrando la formación justa para jugar los partidos importantes y toca lo que toca. Nos estamos entrenando así, en una formación sola y jugando también la misma. Ahí los da más, como te digo, más amistad en campo, te está más cerca, empieza a conocer mejor a tu compañero, sus limitaciones, su cualidad, y ahí que sale mejor de todos, sale mejor de cada uno.
I think it's a little bit complicated when results aren't coming on your way, and that happened a lot, especially with change in formations, and I feel like that messes up with the team's form, but I think we're getting the right form now, and it's good that it's now in the important games, and I think getting used to that and becoming closer to our teammates on the field, everything that's going on the field, and that's where the best comes out of everyone. I think, Andy with Yahoo, go ahead.
I'll do it in Spanish.
perfect.
Douglas, quería saber un poco del año, que te ha brindado el año, un comienzo un poco
¿Quieres
difícil.
saber un poco qué? No escuché.
De la temporada del año, un comienzo un poco difícil, han cambiado jugadores, han llegado jugadores, lesiones, pero ¿qué sensaciones le da a la liga, en la ciudad, en lo que ha vivido desde que llegaste a este punto que ya es un reto diferente, llegar a playoffs y poder competir para ese trofeo que es tan grande para el club?
Yo pienso que cambiar de país, de cultura, siempre es difícil, hasta porque los últimos 2 años yo salí de Alemania a Brasil y estoy acá ahora, y son totalmente distintos, pero la verdad que el equipo me dejó siempre libre, con ganas de hacer lo que quería, y siempre me estuve aguantando acá. Y de verdad ahora que llegaron jugadores como Rick y Gaston, nos trae más calidad al equipo y nos deja un equipo cada vez más técnica, lo que quiere el entrenador, lo que queremos nosotros que estamos jugando más arriba. Cuanto menos corremos atrás del balón, más tenemos y jugamos mejor. Y así que yo creo que es fútbol para mí.
Are you able to repeat your question in English?
Yeah, the question was basically just how the year has unfolded and with new players coming in and players going out, just how the season has been for him being here and basically in a new setting.
He says, I think that changing countries and cultures, it's difficult sometimes, coming from Brazil and Europe. And I'm here now, and the team is playing, I think right now we're playing better. We're a little bit more free on the field. And with the type of players that we have, like Ricky and Gaston, we have more quality and more technical abilities. And I think the least amount of time we run behind the ball, the better we are playing. We're going to go with a question on Zoom. If he's still online, if you hear us. Tiago? Hold on, Tiago, I think. Give us a second. Tiago, you can ask that one in Portuguese and he'll answer in Portuguese.
Thank you, Thiago.
So easy for you. Yes, go ahead in Portuguese.
Boa noite, Thiago. Acredito que a temporada no Grêmio foi uma temporada de uma grande expectativa, no qual elas não foram correspondidas, mas aprendi, tive lições e tirei coisas positivas também. E aqui no Galaxy, cara, eu vim pra cá no intuito de tentar me lesionar menos e isso eu consegui. O primeiro ano foi um ano realmente bastante difícil, mas no final a gente conseguiu o nosso objetivo, que era ir para os playoffs, e estamos no caminho. Então eu estou feliz por isso, acho que é uma temporada no final positiva, sem lesões, tantas lesões como eu tive no passado.
Perfect. One more here with Gio. This one's in English.
Let's do it in Spanish. Te la hago en español, pero
Mejor.
te estamos esperando aquí para en inglés.
En el
Pero-
próximo.
Pero felicidades en el gol, en el penal. Tú eres un jugador que puedes cambiar el ritmo del partido. Tú eres un juego franquicia. A veces no te hemos visto jugar los 90 minutos. Nada más quiero saber cómo estás tú físicamente y si puedes jugar los 90 minutos.
Yo creo que yo doy mi mejor al equipo lo máximo que puedo y lo que encarga de ver el entrenador. Si me ves que estoy dando el máximo por 70 minutos, eso que voy a hacer, si quiere 90, voy a estar por 90 también y voy a luchar para jugar 90. Pero yo creo que estoy listo para jugar los 90, pero hay otros jugadores, hay cambios que cambian también la partida, hasta porque había partidos que yo no empecé y entraba faltando 25 o 20 minutos e intentaba cambiar los partidos también. Entonces, tengo otros jugadores buenos, importantes, que pueden hacer la diferencia, no solo yo.
So the question. Go ahead.
I just asked him, I said congrats on the goal. I asked him, you're a player that can just change the rhythm of the game. How you feeling? Are you healthy? Can you go a full 90 minutes?
Douglas's answers. I think I give my best to the team every time I'm on the field, and I'll play whatever the coach wants me to play. And I'm going to fight. If he wants me to give 90 minutes, I'm going to give 90 minutes. I'm ready to play 90 minutes. But sometimes just depends on the rhythm of the game. But whatever the coach wants, we have really good other important players on the team that can also make a difference, not just me. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Douglas, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All done.
Next time in Germany. No?